Okay, the biggest drama was down at state for you. When your dad left me a voicemail, he said it just doesn't win. You know, that you were in 8th place. And then the one girl jumps 1 inch further than you.
It really doesn't matter.
If it does one measuring distance and one a degree.
We'll put that down for everybody.
Throw it out there.
I would say further.
Okay. And then the next girl comes up and ties you. What are you thinking through all of this? Because you've already jumped, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was studying in 9th until my very last jump.
Okay.
And then between my second jump and my last jump, we had a big break because a couple girls left to go run the hurdle trials. So I'm sitting there trying to just relax. And I'm like, okay, I'm in 9th. This girl in front of me, it was the girl right in front of me that ended up beating me by the inch.
Right.
So I was like, okay, she hasn't jumped good her first 2. They were like 16, mid-16. And I was like, okay, I don't want to get too excited. But so I was just kind of sitting there and kind of thinking about my jump. And then I was like, okay. And then she jumped. And I couldn't tell what she jumped. And then she was smiling. And I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, oh, well, I gotta jump down. And I don't know. I think a lot of things were just going through my mind.
And so you had the last jump and you didn't quite make it? Was that what it was?
I had the last jump, and it didn't beat what she just jumped.
Oh.
So then my I had the 17.4 already, but I had to jump better than that to stay in 9th place. Because I already knew the girl that jumped 17.4 along with me had a 17.3 behind her.
Right.
And that was only 17 something I jumped that day. So I knew I had to do better on that jump if I was going to stay in top 9. So.
Okay. That's a lot of pressure. Was there more pressure at state than...
Oh, yeah.
No?
Yeah, like, I didn't really have problems with nerves at all this year. And I wasn't nervous going into the meet, but just like the atmosphere is kind of overwhelming. And when you first get there, you're just kind of like, okay. Yeah. So it was definitely like something that I was not used to. Like, we go to big meets. We go to a lot of big meets compared to a lot of the other, especially small schools. But it was still kind of on its own level.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like try to take it all in.
Kept asking us questions.
Yeah. Well, another thing that took me off guard was how efficient they were.
Oh.
Like, we went through an entire flight, which is 8 girls, 3 jumps each. They had that done in 15 minutes. And usually it takes a half an hour or more to get that many.
And that because a lot of the girls at the regular meet are away at the time?
Away and,
They had 4 to 5 guys.
yeah, there's not as much help.
Yeah, we were sitting there talking. I said, what are you thinking about this? I just didn't think I had so much time between these jumps.
So that probably hurt your concentration.
I think so, because it almost felt like I wasn't regrouped yet. Because usually after I jump, me and Jeff talked, and then he gives me things to think about. But by the time me and Jeff talked, I had to go back there because I was already, next in line or whatever. And I think that caught me a little off guard. I think it added to the overwhelming feeling, which that kind of dropped off as the meet went on.
Did it bother you that those 2 guys were sitting there right like this? Right beside the board? That would bother me. Did that bother you?
I didn't really notice, distinct people down there, but, you could feel their presence. Since there were so many of them down there, you could kind of feel their presence. And it was weird having the timer on the side. the timer guy on the side. So I wasn't used to that either.
I didn't realize that's what he did.
Timing you down.
You and I were sitting talking.
Timer meaning you have to jump within a certain period.
You have a minute from when you start your approach,
When they call your name.
when they call your name. So,
Okay, you had sectional. You had a very up and down day, especially in the distance. You scratched 3 times. I'm sure you're gonna remember that for a while. I know I will. It's
It's going to be hard to forget.
right. Any reason why that happened, or
I couldn't tell you. My first 3 warm-up throws were amazing. Just from looking, from being in the front, I think they were over 120. And I got in the ring as the last thrower in prelims, and first throw, I always go in with a free throw. You haven't told me anything to do differently yet, so I go in there thinking, just throw. And I did. And as a usual thing, it goes outside, just right outside there. And I actually fell in the ring also, which was a big letdown. It hurt my knees really bad.
that was the second time? Or first?
The first time. I had never fallen in the discus ring before, and I think, honestly, it was just, I don't even know how it happened. And after that, I guess I just couldn't get myself back up.
At that point, you needed to talk to Taya and say, how do I handle this?
Right? Yeah.
hey, is she still falling?
And see, that's one of those situations where I'm over there, and I'm in a situation where none of the other throwers can really tell me anything that'll help me. But besides, just get up there and throw it. And it didn't really work out too well. I got to my 3rd throw, and I had to get it in. I sacrificed throwing a spin technique to just going to what we call left leg post or knee flat, which is just a half spin from the center of the ring. And it went outside the sector. I left the ring and started pulling my eyes out all over Dyer. Never expected him to take care of me in that situation. But he made me feel a little bit better. Told me that I have another event to compete in, and I need to let it go.